Okay, good afternoon or good morning. I don't know what time that would be. Um, there where you're watching this. It's a tremendous opportunity and a privilege I have to address and speak with you on a day like this. I want to congratulate you for the program thus far. This is supposed to be day three. Impressive program, massive, life transforming opportunity. I want to thank you for joining thus far. And I want to believe that you've gained, people will say one or two things. I know the quality of programs that Brother Kingsley organizes, and I do not think it's just one or two things you are gaining. I believe you are gaining massively a lot. And I just want to add to the contributions of the previous speakers. They have addressed you on various subjects, and you have done various projects, various breakout sessions. So I just want to contribute a little bit, and I believe it will be helpful for you. My title is Making a Difference in the World Now. I'm sure you'll be wondering, what does it mean to make a difference in the world now, and why the world now? Because typically many of you have heard people talk about making a difference, but what is the importance of now? Okay, why I decided to choose a topic and particularly use the word now at the end is because many of us watching this video are young people. There's a sense in which we believe that we need to wait till tomorrow, and by tomorrow we mean the future, before we can make a difference. So, my goal is to do two things. Number one, make you understand that you need to make a difference, and that also includes how to do it, and also the need for you to do it now. Why do you have to do it now? Because there's a sense in which many of us feel that there's a linear way things get happen, and indeed some things happen linearly, right? You have to be born before you can come to the world. You have to register in school before you can become a student. Now there's some linear things in the world, but there are also some things that are not necessarily linear. I mean, so for example, you have come to see now. I mean, for those of you who are maybe in secondary school or thereabout, you will have seen by now that it's possible for you to become a computer coder without doing reading, without finishing from the university or even from secondary school. You will have also seen, maybe you are an undergraduate, you will have also seen your friends who, for example, became chartered accountant without finishing their degree in accounting, right? So the world is making it more possible for things not to be linear, and it's important for us as young people to understand that, because we sometimes allow ourselves to be boxed into this linear thinking that after A is B, then C, then D, and then we go on till we get to Z. It's possible in today's world for you to move from A to Z, and then sometimes later you come back to B. And I've given you examples of how it's happening even in professional circles, where, for example, I can become a chartered accountant without finishing my degree in education. Actually, there's a university in Nigeria that I think has a goal to ensure that people become chartered in their third year in the university. That's in the professional field. You have also had situations of people who became music stars, music prodigy, without finishing what they were supposed to do in school or learning under someone or whatever. So the idea is that there is a now, that you have an opportunity as a young person to start to make a difference. And while some things will wait, you can start to have the mindset and the mentality of how I can make a difference from now. And so when I say making a difference in the world from now, what do I mean by the world? Am I suggesting that you have to change the whole world? Not necessarily. Some people will have the opportunity to change the whole world. There will not be many people, but there will be some few people that can change the whole world. But when you change the circumstance of one person, to that person, that's the whole world. So there is a whole world that consists of 7 billion people, right? And they are in all the continents. There is that extent of defining the world as that. But there is the extent of also defining the world as each individual. And to mean that if you can change me or change him or change her, you have changed the world for that individual. So imagine a situation where you met a child who has not eaten breakfast, and the child is malnourished and is about to die, and you give that child a meal. That child's world has changed, because perhaps that meal is the difference between whether he will live or die. Now you have not fed the whole world. You have not fed 7 billion people, but you have fed one person, and that one person you have fed, you have transformed his world. So when I say changing the world, I mean both looking at opportunities to change the 7 billion people in the world, or changing the world for one person. And everybody listening to me can do that. Everybody listening to me can do that. Because there is one boy down the street that you may just need to give a meal. There may be a boy down your road that you might just give an encouragement. There may be a boy or a girl in your street that has written jam 3, 4, 5 times, and all you need to do is to coach him or coach her, and then she passes jam and the life changes. There could be that person on your street who hawks, and you could just ask that basic question: why do you hawk? And the person tells you, well, I hawk groundnut or I hawk bread because my parents can't send me to school. And you can actually help the person to know how to get to school in a more affordable way. You have changed that person's world. I remember a story I read many years ago about a boy who stood by the shore and was seeing water, seeing the waves coming and going. And what happened was that every time he saw the wave comes, the waves throws some fishes and some small animals on the shore. And by the time the waves goes back, those animals are left on the shore. And of course, for amphibious animals, if they are not in water, sorry, not amphibious, I'm sorry, for aquatic animals, if they are not in water, they're going to die. And so those animals will die on the shore because the wave that brought them to land did not take them back to water. So this boy had this habit of going to the shore, and he'll pick as many as he can pick and throw back into the water. So one day somebody asked him, "Why do you keep doing this? I mean, there are thousands of these animals on this shore that get washed and die. I mean, why do you waste your time?" And the young man replied and said, "Yeah, I know there are thousands of these animals that get washed onto the shore, and I believe there are thousands and millions all over the world. But what I can do for one is sufficient for that person. So for that animal I threw back into the river, that's giving him another life. For those I can't help, unfortunately, I can't help them. But for those I can help, that's all they need." And that's just for you to understand you can also change the world. Oh, you have a friend who is struggling with a subject, maths, English, biology, literature, history, whatever is the subject. You can actually change that guy's world by helping him. You can sing for somebody, you can dance, you can do this. You can literally change the person's world. And that makes a difference. Sorry, it's a bit cold, so I'm taking some tea to keep warm. I hope you don't mind. I'm sure you remember. I don't know. Well, I don't know if you remember, but when I was younger, I read the story of Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist is a book set in England in many years ago. It's about a boy that saw a lot of deprivation as a young guy, and had an opportunity to have a lot of experiences. So he said once, as he was recounting in the book, that it's a fiction anyway, that one day he was walking and somebody told him, "God bless you." He said since he has been born, nobody has ever prayed or wished him well to say, "God bless you." He, Oliver Twist could not forget that experience because he has never had it before. Now, so telling somebody God bless you may actually be changing that person's world, because some people have never been told God bless you. Oh, I love you, you are valuable, you are useful, you are kind, you are beautiful, is all that is supposed to change some people's world. So that's to set the tone. So I just want to talk about 4, 5 things, that areas or how we can change the world, either the whole world or the world of one person. Number one, we can use our skills and our assets to change the world. Oh, if you are skillful, then you can change the world, because people will start to emulate you, people will start to respect you. When you think about skillful people like Cristiano Ronaldo in football, or Lionel Messi in football, or you want to think about skillful people like Simon Biles in gymnastics, or you want to think about skillful people like Burna Boy in music, or you want to think about Shakira, or you want to think about powerful speakers like Barack Obama, and you have that array of skillful people that they use that to change the world. Whether you want to agree with the way they use it, because some of them may be using their skill wrongly, but the fact is that they're using it to change the world. And some of them, you have skills and also have assets that enables the skills to get to many people. Some of them have assets like platforms, Facebook pages, Twitter pages, football clubs they work on. I mean, I know many of you like football. Look at when Lionel Messi left Barcelona to go and sign for PSG. Did you see the motorcade? It was received in Paris like it was the head of state. That guy is changing the world. He's using the platform and the asset of football to make a difference. There was a World Cup that a young man showed up on the stage, David Beckham. He had a very interesting hairstyle. The hairstyle was, there was no hair here and there was hair here. What you currently call mohawk was popularized by a man called David Beckham. David Beckham used to be one of the most glamorous players in the world at the time. So he came to the World Cup with that hairstyle called mohawk, and he showed up first game for England, and everybody saw. I mean, this is Beckham, excellent, beautiful player, wearing this hairstyle. It was recorded that between that day of the match and the next day, millions of people all over the world went to cut the hairstyle called Mohawk. That guy has changed the world with his Mohawk. Today, you know what is Mohawk? It didn't originate Mohawk. He was not the first person that had a hairstyle of a Mohawk. But because he had skills and he had an asset that was a World Cup, he used the two together to project on people. So you can use your skill also to change the world. So some of you want to become doctors. Being a doctor, you can save someone, right? Being a nurse, being an accountant, being a journalist, you can change the world. You remember there was a BBC report that was done a couple of years ago about sex for marks at the University of Lagos and a university in Ghana. You know that in Nigeria we have struggled with sex for marks and it's been on for a while. And very rarely do you get teachers get punished for doing that. And then a journalist gets on the case and does a video, and as a result of the video the whole world watched it. If you check the video on YouTube, it's massively watched, and because of that the university eventually sacked I think two teachers in University of Lagos as a result of that. That is a journalist who is using his skill as a journalist and also the platform of the BBC, which is an asset, to change Unilag or to change the world, if you allow me to say that, right? Or you want to go and become an accountant and you want to help people do their books well, or you choose to become a public speaker and you want to be encouraging people and challenge them to become better people. So you can use your skill and your assets to change the world. So my question to you is that, do you know your skill? And I think before you leave this session, before you leave this workshop, you must try and identify your skill. What is that thing you are good at? It doesn't have to be something outstanding. It's just that that's your skill. Because sometimes some of us know we have skills, but we are wondering, how can this be a skill? I can being able to dance be a skill. I can be able to skate be a skill. I can being able to talk be a skill. I can being able to do anything. I can being able to move my body in an interesting way be a skill. So if for example there was nothing called gymnastics, people who can move their body anyhow would be wondering what is that skill. But today it has become there. I mean, people will tell you, oh, when you hear Anthony Joshua, you know him for boxing. It's a skill. It's a skill that he has. And he's using it to change the world, right? So you must know your skill. It's possible that your skill is not as recognized as you think it should be, but actually you can start to work on that skill and make it become more recognizable. Or a time may come in the world when that skill will become recognizable, right? You remember we just finished the Olympics, the Tokyo Olympics. There was a game there was a sport that was introduced for the first time in the Olympics called skateboarding. It's a game to recognize and show talented people in riding skateboard. Before now, skateboard was seen as just one pastime that children do. Today is an Olympic sport. And now you know what happened? For the women category, who won? 13-year-old girl won the gold. 13-year-old girl won the silver. At the next Olympics, break dancing is going to become a sport. Yes, at the next Olympics, break dancing will become a sport, and you guys can go there because once you are an Olympic gold medalist, you already have Now your skill gets you the Olympic gold medalist. That platform is enough for you to change the world. Wherever you go, you'll be introduced as a medalist, and you can speak anywhere. So you can use your skills and your assets to change the world. Number one. That's number two. You can use your experiences. Oh, and that we cannot talk about. That's enough. Good experiences, bad experiences, you can use to change the world. Oh, so you go on a vacation to Oshogbo or to Enugu or to Abakaliki or to Asaba. You write an article about it and you put it on Facebook or you put it on Medium or you put it on TikTok or you do whatever about it. That can be what somebody needs to have a different experience in his life. So whether the experience is possible or not, oh, you were ill and then you got admitted in the hospital, you can do a TikTok video of how you are recovering. There may be a child who is struggling with the same disease who is afraid he will never recover. So you can change the life of that child. Actually, if you're in the hospital tied down with sickness or you're not feeling fine, you can walk to the guy next bed to you and try to encourage him because your experience can make a difference. And again, giving another instance, I'm sure we all know Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka is the number two rated woman in tennis in the world. Naomi Osaka had a challenge. She said she had some mental health situation because of how press conferences are organized for tennis stars, and she said she's not doing that press conference in a competition, and the organizers got annoyed with her and threatened her, and she pulled out and said she wasn't going to continue there. And immediately a massive conversation started on what we should do about press conference for lady. This lady who is in her 20s has changed tennis and interviews. Simple. Just because of her experience. Oh, you remember what happened at the World Cup or the Olympics with Simone Biles? Simone Biles is the world's most decorated gymnast. She had a twitch while she was in the air, and a conversation started again. So your experience doesn't have to be positive or negative. It just needs to be an experience, and you can use it to change the world. Oh, you wrote jam 3 times, you passed the fourth time. You can write an article about it or do a video like I'm doing and share it with somebody who has decided to give up and say, I'm no more going to write the exam, can see it, and that makes a difference. You can write, you can sing, you can use your experience to change the world. So that's the second. Number three, you can use your weaknesses. Yes, there's a lot of emphasis on people using their strengths and their opportunity and all of that to make a difference, but you can also use your weakness. Oh, when there was this massive, when we had at the onset of COVID, there was this old man, Sam Samo, Moore. Unfortunately, he's passed now. I think he was 99 years old then. He decided to do something. Yeah, I mean, as an old man, he couldn't work. He said he wanted to raise money and support the health system so that they can deal with COVID. And he said he was going to take a walk, a walk, and to as a fundraising event. And this man achieved more than what he was. What he eventually raised was beyond his dreams. The recognition, the support he got for that was massive. But you know what? What is it special about taking a few steps? But because he's an old man, that is a weakness. So when an old man who is weak decides to take some steps that is using his last energy for, that man is using his weakness to change the world. It's very important. You don't need to necessarily have strength to change the world. Your weakness can also be a change in the world. I love to watch American Got Talent, and I don't know whether it was last year or 2 years ago, one of the guys that made the final at American Got Talent. Now you know what American Got Talent is, a $1 million competition. I don't know what was his position, whether he eventually came second, third, or fourth, but I know it was in the top five. Was a comedian who stammers. Can you believe that? How can a stammerer be a comedian? But he used his weakness massively. So don't think that your weakness is always a liability. You can actually maximize your weakness to become an opportunity and use it to change the world. And the last thing I want to talk about is opportunity. As a young person, you're going to have various opportunities. Oh, you are made a class captain. Oh, you are made school prefect. Oh, you are made the president of sciences. Oh, you got admission to LASU. Oh, you got admission to this. Oh, this happened to you. All those opportunities are platforms to make a difference in somebody's world. Because when you get into that school, you're going to meet people. Those people you meet, you can change their world. When you get in that school this year, next year, some new guy going to come in, and you being a help, a guide, a mentor to that person can make a difference in the person's life. So you can use your opportunities. Oh, and today is such a day to talk about opportunities. Because today is a day when we are remembering the death of one of the greatest Nigerians we have had, the lady Dr. Stella Adedevil. Remember the story of Stella Adedevil? She's a doctor, works in a clinic in Lagos. A man came all the way from another part of West Africa, came to our clinic, and she suspected the man had Ebola. The man wanted to leave, and Stella Adedevil prevented him from leaving. Unfortunately, in the process, she caught the Ebola virus. The man died, but Stella Adedevil and also the nurse, a nurse actually died in the process. And that singular act of Stella Adedevil prevented the spread of COVID, because this man that brought COVID, sorry, not COVID, Ebola, this man that brought Ebola to Nigeria was actually planning to travel to another part of Nigeria. If he had left that clinic, it would have spread the virus across as he went on that long journey. But Dr. Mrs. Adedevil stopped that, prevented that from happening. Do you know the implications? She saved lives. But you know what? It was just an opportunity she had. She was not prepared for. She wasn't expecting it. She was just a doctor on a regular day, doing a regular job, being a regular person, and just doing the best she could do on that day. So you're going to have opportunities. You're going to have a younger boy walk up to you and say, Uncle, what does it take to become an engineer? Uncle, what does it take to be a doctor? Uncle, what does it take to know how to dance? You're going to see a younger person that will walk to you and say, Auntie, teach me how to make hair, or teach me how to sing, or teach me how to dance, or something like, Auntie, can I go out with you? Can I follow you to the market or whatsoever? You do not know how you can make a difference. So those opportunities will be there. Everybody today knows the man called Genius. Now I don't call his surname very well. Antitokobo or something. The the basketball star whose parents are from Nigeria. His name is actually Ade Tokumbo, but they emigrated to Greece, and they changed the name and it became Ante Totumpo or something. I used to call it Anti Tokumbo. That's the way I call it, right? You know the story of genies. Today, everybody knows genies, everybody celebrates genies. But if you read the story of genies, it was just a question of somebody who saw genies playing catch. So, Genies was a regular boy in Greece, and he was playing catch. As you know what it means, catch. Catch me, you dodge, you dunk, and all of those things. He had no basketball in his now. It was just going around, and a teacher saw the way he was, a basketball coach saw it, the way he was able to dribble and do, and said, this guy has skills in dribbling. This guy would know, if you give him a basketball, he will know how to dribble. And that's how the man pulled genius from that game of catch and brought him to start to learn basketball. Long story short, the guy is a world beater today. Guinness is changing his world, making records and making a difference. But the question is that coach that saw the guy, it was just an opportunity. There were many adults that were walking past Guinness that didn't care that day. But this person saw an opportunity and decided to make a difference in the life of this Guinness guy. And today, like they say, it has become history. So you're going to have opportunity, massive opportunity, even today in this class. You can live here and decide that everything we do in these 3 days, I'm going to look for 4 or 5 or 1 or 2 people younger than me or my age, and I'm going to tell them exactly what I've learned. And you may just be making a difference in the life of that person at the end of the day. So you can make a difference. Now, thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. I'm proud that you were able to be a part of this program, and I'm happy that you saw it through to the end. Thank you very much, and God bless you. And thanks to Brother Kinsley for making this happen. Thank you. God bless you.